What is I'm sick. Anyways, what's up guys? K3 here. Thought I'd try out some new content by talking about what I love, WWE. We'll talk about Clash in Paris live reactions, what happened on Raw earlier today, and preview for NXT. I'll be answering your guys' questions in chat and more. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Start with Clash in Paris results. So we kicked off the night with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Roman came out with two Ula follows on, and the reason behind one was black, one was red. The reason behind that was to pay homage to the Wild Samoans, his uncle and dad, Appa and Sika. The result of that was Roman Reigns defeating Bronson Reed. And then after the match, he was about to kill Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gave him his shoes back and said he acknowledged Roman. Roman then locks in a half guillotine, not a full one. He didn't get jump up on top of him, lock it in like that. He just locked him in, and that took Paul Heyman out. Then Bronson and Braun come out to avenge Paul Heyman immediately after that. To destroy Roman Reigns, where he has to leave on a stretcher and all that. Tsunami, spear, everything you think of from the two. Damn. Anyways. Yeah, and then Jey Uso did come out and try and save Roman, but it's just Roman was already down out. He couldn't get help Jey very much. It was kind of just same thing kind of happened to Jey, but he didn't get killed like Roman did. We'll talk about the updates on them when we get to Raw. Thank you. We then move on to the next match, which is the Tag Team Championship match between the Y6 and the Street Profits. The Street Profits defeated the Street Profits. The Y6 defeated the Street Profits with some shenanigans, as you expect from the Y6. What they did was they kind of just interfered a little bit, distracted the referee. Y6 ended up winning that kind of forgettable match. It's all right. After that, we had the most infamous match of this entire card, the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Becky ended up retaining, but not without a bad botch. So Nikki Bella went up to the top. She was going to go for a back, you know how with Jey Uso, how he goes for the woman where he goes for a super kick. They catch him, then he drops down and then jumps up into the kick. That's pretty much what Nikki Bella tried to do, but from the top rope. Then Becky Lynch was too far off to the side, so they missed it. But Becky tried to play it off, and it did not turn out too well. But yeah, then after that, we saw the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Rusev and Sheamus. It was a great match, back and forth, and loved it. Rusev ended up defeating Sheamus by getting him to tap out. They used Rusev's not Rusev. Sheamus is a stick he comes out with during his entrance. He used that to tap him out. And then there were some good moments. Thought it was a great match and all that. I enjoyed it. But after that, my favorite match of the entire night, which I don't know about you guys is, but I'm pulling up some of my notes on this. But pulling up my notes. Cena versus Logan Paul. What a match that was. It was back and forth. Nobody could pin the other. Cena ended up winning that match, obviously. Getting him the 99 pay-per-view win, second all time. Behind Undertaker was 107, but obviously Cena does not have enough pay-per-views left to do that. But he beat it, Logan Paul. He did a Styles Clash, which is kind of surprising. Paying homage to AJ Styles. Yeah. Then we head into our main event: Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso. Everyone came out. Jey Uso was injured from earlier in the match. He had taped up ribs. When does Jey not have taped up ribs? I'm gonna be honest with you. When does he not have taped up ribs? But Seth ended up retaining. But we'll get into the match a little bit right here. They teamed up on Seth. Well, they started the match. They're all doing a stare up against the four of them. CM Punk then super kicks Jey Uso to get revenge for what Jey Uso did last Raw, where he super kicked both LA Knight and CM Punk. But that took him out. Then they kind of teamed up later in the match. Never about to send him to their table. Jey Uso gets revenge back on Punk by super kicking him. Then he super kicked LA Knight. And it was kind of like that. LA Knight went for a big elbow drop. The elbow drop from the top rope. He just threw Seth Rollins through a table. Seth moved out of the way. Took him out of the match. They took Jey out of the match at the stomp. Then Seth stomped Punk and LA Knight. LA Knight's outside. Jey Uso's outside the ring. Seth grabs the chair, telling Punk he's going to make sure this is his final match of his career. He sets up the chair, put Punk's head in between the chair, and then let the gap, you know what I'm talking about, on the steel chairs. He went for the stomp. Punk pulled out. Seth injured his knee there. Punk caught him into the GTS. Seth stayed up. He went for a second GTS, but he showboated for too long. A person in a black hoodie came in, low blow Punk. Seth retained. That person in the hoodie ended up being his wife, Becky Lynch. And yeah, that's Clash in Paris for you. It's a decent show. I give it a let's see here. I'm gonna think here. I'm trying to think. What would I rate it? Trying to think if I give it a 7, 8 out of 10. Not gonna lie, it was alright, but it wasn't that great. It's kind of mid. Now let's move on to Raw. Hold on. Put my notes for Raw real quick. I have them on separate docs. All right, Raw. So this is an early start time. They were back in Paris. Jey Uso comes out. He calls out Seth the Vision, Seth Rollins, and all that for what they did. He wanted them to come out and fight because they took out his cousin. LA Knight came out instead. He talked about how Jey Uso spoiled LA Knight because the reason Seth Rollins rolled off the table earlier in the match was because Jey Uso attacked him. He said that spoiled the match. Him stopping them from putting Seth through a table took him out of the match. Him breaking up the pin where LA Knight could have pinned Seth Rollins to win the title. Then Bronson and Braun interrupted and challenged him to a tag match. They accepted. We then moved on to the Kabuki Warriors versus Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. They ended up picking up the win there. The Kabuki Warriors did by tapping out Perez in the Oscar lock. We then got Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee. Finn won that. Just kind of forget Bill Raw for most of the part. Got Penta and the War Raiders versus the New Day and Chris Waller. I want to be 100 with you. They do not know what they're doing with Penta. They had him in a rivalry with the Vision. Then they fucking removed him and put him in a rivalry with the New Day for absolutely no reason. I don't know, but Penta and the War Raiders defeated the New Day and Chris Waller. We then got the Intercontinental title match versus Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Ben Balor and JD McDonald were barred from ringside for that match, but Dom was still able to pick up the win with help from El Grande Americano with the loaded mask. Don't know which El Grande it was. Then, earlier in the show, we saw Punk waiting for Seth out in the entrance. He was waiting there all night. Adam Pearce comes up and tells him that Seth is in the building. He doesn't know how he got in, but he's in. So Punk walks to the ring, comes out, and says he's going to wait here until Seth comes out. Seth's music hits. It turns out to be Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch just insults Punk. It's not like slapping him across the face, telling him, "Oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Can't do anything." Seth actually comes out and says, because Punk kept throwing disses at Seth, he says, "Say it to my face." But Becky, he went to walk up to say it to his face. Becky kept blocking him. Then Seth just left. And Becky kept slapping him, saying, "What you gonna do?" Punk ended up saying that she's gonna regret messing with him, which I'm guessing it's an AJ Lee return. If it's Rhea Ripley, I'm fucking quitting wrestling altogether. We then got the tag team match. Braun Breaker. Oh, wait, before we get to that, we need to talk about the backstage segment after that. Punk asked Pierce where the next SmackDown was this week. It turned out to be in Chicago, Illinois. So I think Punk is going to be making an appearance there and announce AJ Lee's return. Maybe. I'm not sure. Then got the main event tag team match. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeat Jey Uso and LA Knight. Very obvious. Knight and Uso put up the fight. Then it was just a spear from Breaker. The Jey with the messed up ribs. It was over. Then they attacked Jey. LA Knight tried to save him. They took out LA Knight. Then Jey keeps getting his ass kicked. Tsunami, speared, all of the above. Breaker is about to go for another spear. And Jimmy Uso came out to save the day. And Jay's like, "I need you, Uso. I need you." I'm like, Jimmy's like, I'm here. So what I'm guessing with Jimmy is also, I feel for Jimmy, bro. I feel for because they keep putting him in the matches with the bloodline, bro. Like, just move on, Jimmy. Like, they won't let Jimmy move on. But I'm guessing the Sammy trade that ended up leading to Sammy win the United States title. What Raw might have got in return was Jimmy Uso. And they could bring Jimmy over to Raw and get him involved with the Vision, give him kind of a fresh start, no longer in bloodline stuff. So I hope that's what happened. But that was Raw. It was pretty good. It was kind of forgettable for the most part. Now let's head over to preview for NXT. What we have announced so far, it's going to be in Orlando, Florida at the Performance Center. Watch it on the CW Network in the United States and Netflix International. You're going to get a blindfold match, Alex Keane versus Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne is going to win that. DeColian versus Ren Sinclair and a mystery partner. I have Ren Sinclair and their partner winning. Fatal Influence versus Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, and Zaria. Seeing Lola Vice, Sol Ruca, and Zaria are going to beat Fatal Influence. And then we get Blake Monroe versus Kiani Jordan. Blake Monroe is going to win that. And that is that. Trying to think of but yeah, that's pretty much everything. This chat isn't kind of like really I feel like now back to the Punk thing. Punk has been feuding with Seth for way too long. Like, bro, Uncle Seth just needs to chill, bro. Let Punk get fresh air. The only other rivalry we had, except for Seth Rollins, was Drew McIntyre, which has probably led to one of the best Hell in a Cell matches ever. But Yeah. Knight is all right. Knight, they don't know what they're doing with LA Knight. They have a perfect man to push. They could easily, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, they could easily give him a world title and he'll be the biggest star. But they won't because they're too scared. Triple H does not know what he's doing. Put Shawn Michaels in, god damn it. Put my boy Shawn in. Let him cook. But yeah, fire Triple H. Fire his ass. We also got announced for our first match for WrestlePalooza. WrestlePalooza, which Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky, which I don't know why they didn't do that clash, but whatever. And any other upcoming news I got announced? Cena's going to be in Chicago, Illinois for SmackDown. Punk's also going to be there, maybe. Not sure. Yeah. Well, then that's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys tuned in. And peace. Love you guys. Make sure to like and sub, follow. Use code K Street at checkout for 10% off for all of your W needs. Join the Discord. The link's there now too. I have a playlist of almost every single video on my channel if you want to go check that out. Why is my eyebrows so raised right there for a second? I don't know. But like sub, obviously like the stream. It helps a lot trying to push the content, beat the algorithm so we can get out to more people. And peace.